My online boyfriend of a year dumped me for a freshman he saw on campus. Said she was the love of his life, his soulmate, the one. The irony? He was looking at a picture of me. Before I could burst his little bubble, he tried to set me up with his roommate. He's rich, single, and packing 8 inches. He promised. I mean, what's a girl to do? I took the deal. But now, the ex who swore he'd never look back is on his knees, literally wearing a collar, begging for a second chance. He's offering to be the side piece, while my new, supposedly innocent boyfriend reveals a possessive side I never saw coming. They say all's fair in love and war. But I'm pretty sure this is just a dumpster fire, and I'm the one holding the match. Babe, let's break up. The text from Jack popped up on my screen. Even though this online thing was pretty casual for me, the suddenness of it was still a surprise. I called him. I saw a freshman today, he said, his voice completely serious. She's everything I've ever wanted in a girl. It's like she was made for me. If I can't be with her, my life has no meaning. I had to laugh. You said the same thing to me once. He coughed, clearly embarrassed. Look, guys say stupid crap like that all the time, but with her it's different. It's real, I suggested, scrolling through my camera roll. No need. I've seen your pictures. I know you're hot, but you're more of the cool, edgy type. I'm into the cute, innocent look now. Edgy? Jack, are you sure you've got the right person? I'm not edgy at all. He sent a photo. It was a stunning woman in a black leather jacket, sitting on a motorcycle. I was about to tell him that was my sister Sarah, when another picture came through.
It was me.
This is the girl I'm talking about, he texted. It's funny, you two kind of look alike, but the vibe is totally different. You're beautiful and fierce, cooler than I am, honestly. If it wasn't for your sweet voice, I probably wouldn't have gone for you. But her, big eyes, small face, and that voice, she's got me completely hooked. I'm just showing you so you know. I'm serious. Don't do anything weird with her picture. I couldn't believe it.
He was this smitten with me.
I burst out laughing and decided to mess with him. Okay, then she can be your main girl, and I'll be your side piece. I can't live without you. He sighed dramatically.
Don't be silly.
I cheat, and I keep girls on the back burner. I'm no good for you. What a liar. I knew he had insane stamina from our late-night calls, just as I was about to reveal that the second picture was me. A new photo popped up. It was a guy so handsome it felt illegal. This is my roommate Gus. Jack's text read, campus heartthrob. Comes from money. Never had a girlfriend. And he's packing 8 inches. I'll get him to date you. The photo showed Gus at a sunlit desk, a white shirt crisp and clean. His skin was flawless, lips naturally red. The hand holding a pen was elegant, with long fingers and perfectly manicured nails. My heart skipped a beat. And in that skipped beat, I realized I didn't have a type. I was just a sucker for a pretty face. Well, I hadn't met anyone better. Why not give Gus a try? Will he actually do it? I typed back. Of course, we're best friends. If he says no, I'll hold a knife to his throat. I grinned. Fine, but don't come crawling back to me. Don't worry, he wrote, full of confidence. Whoever begs to get back together is a dog, as if I'd be the one begging. My parents were super strict about school, which is why I was dating online in the first place. But now that I was in college at Lakeview, they were all for me having a boyfriend. I plan on playing the field, not recycling old news. Which university did you say you were at again? I just sent Gus your contact info. I'll have him ask you out tomorrow. I'd kept my college choice a secret to surprise him, but there was no point now. Before I could reply, he texted again. Gotta go, man. Need to plan my grand confession to my dream girl. Later, he hung up. A second later, a friend request from Gus appeared on my screen. I decided to play it cool and left the request pending. My photo had been posted on the campus spotted page on move-in day, and I'd gotten a little bit of buzz. The next day, during freshman orientation, a bunch of people came by to see me in person. Jack was one of them. He walked right up to me holding a massive bouquet of red roses and 3 rare Funko Pops. Hi, Mia, he said, going for the direct approach. I'm Jack, a junior in the computer science department. It was love at first sight. Will you be my girlfriend? I looked him over. Honestly, he was even hotter in person. The way his black t-shirt clung to his abs, the muscles bulging on his arms, the veins popping, the sexual tension was off the charts. The crowd of students around us started chanting, "Say yes, say yes." That's Jack, the legend from CS. Girls are always chasing him. I never thought I'd see the day Jack actually asked a girl out. He's always so distant and untouchable. I thought all that prime hardware was going to waste. Untouchable? Please. The guy was a total flirt online. Their clueless comments made me smile, which Jack misinterpreted as a yes. A triumphant grin spread across his face.
Sorry, I said.
I don't want to date you. His smile froze. The crowd went silent. It was awkward.
Why?
He asked. Because you literally broke up with me last night and pawned me off on your roommate. But I wasn't going to say that. I wanted to watch him figure out himself. I'm already interested in someone, I said. So, you're not official yet? Then give me a chance. I swear I'll treat you better than him. No thanks. I'm not interested in you. I could hear a few gasps from the crowd. His face was a mixture of confusion and embarrassment. But I can't give up on you, he insisted, pushing the gifts toward me. Please take these. Those Funko Pops were tempting, but I didn't want the drama. I shook my head. If you don't take them, I'm throwing them in the trash, he threatened, trying to force my hand. Then throw them away. I grabbed my roommate Haley's arm and walked away without a second glance. You've got guts, Haley said, her eyes wide. Turning down Jack in front of everyone like that, it's fine. It'll scare off some of the other guys who are planning to ask me out. Saves me the trouble. True, the spotted page is blowing up with guys saying they're gonna shoot their shot with you. Speaking of which, it reminded me of Gus. I pulled out my phone, accepted his friend request, and agreed to have dinner with him that night. Gus was waiting by the window when I got to the restaurant. His eyes lit up when he saw me. Then a flicker of confusion crossed his face. I'm Babe, I said with a smile as I sat down. The girlfriend Jack set you up with. I leaned in. Curious why I don't look like the picture? He just nodded, a low, pleasant escaping his lips. When he saw me staring, his ears turned bright red. He took a sip of water to hide his shyness. I was surprised and a little conflicted. I hadn't realized, guys, this innocence still existed. I almost didn't want to date him. I was only in it for the fun, not the feelings. But he was undeniably gorgeous, and his lips looked so soft, so kissable. Ugh, I'd let him decide. So I began. Do you want to date me or the girl in the picture? Because if it's her, I can introduce you. You, he said without a moment's hesitation. Well, I couldn't be blamed then. It's not like he was looking for a soulmate either. Or maybe he was like Jack. All in for a while, then gone. Whatever.
Carpe diem.
Jack said you were 8 inches. Is that true? I asked. And I don't mean height. Gus froze, his face turning a deep shade of crimson. He was speechless. I frowned. If not, then this isn't going to work. He glanced around nervously. It is, he whispered.
Can I see?
Right now? Not here, obviously. After dinner. He nodded, the blush on his face intensifying as he handed me the menu, pointing out the best dishes. Halfway through the meal, his phone rang. It was Jack, and his voice was loud enough for me to hear. You met Babe?
Yeah.
I told you she was hot, right? Yeah. Good. Then treat her right. Keep her busy, so she doesn't have time to think about me. This Mia girl is harder to get than I thought. I need to focus all my energy on her, so I can't deal with Babe. Okay. Thanks, man. You're a lifesaver. I'll treat you to a huge dinner tomorrow. No need.
I'm eating now. Bye.
Gus hung up. A thought occurred to me. Do you even know my name? He paused for a few seconds. No, my name is...
Excuse me.
He interrupted abruptly. I need to use the restroom. He rushed off as if he couldn't hold it another second. By the time he came back, I'd forgotten I was about to tell him my name. After dinner, he was the one who suggested we get a hotel room. I was floored. Was I wrong about him? He was that forward. Seeing my expression, he quickly backpedaled. Don't get the wrong idea, I'm not trying to sleep with you. I wanted you to see for yourself, so you know I wasn't lying, so you'll feel secure being my girlfriend. Oh well, I'd never actually seen one before. The thought of it was kind of awkward. Maybe we should wait a few days. It seems like a waste of money. Just to look, it's not a waste if it makes you feel secure, and I have plenty of money. He was so insistent and so oddly innocent about it that I agreed. Afterward, we were both blushing furiously. I'm very traditional, Gus said, looking at me with wide eyes. I've shown you my most private part. You can't break up with me. Now, no matter what, my mind was still reeling. So that's what it looks like. I wonder if it would actually feel good. I barely heard him and just mumbled, okay. He beamed and walked me back to my dorm. As we neared the entrance, I saw a couple making out in the shadows. I stopped. Can I kiss you? Yes. His ears were red as he cupped my face and gently pressed his lips to mine. It was over almost as soon as it started. He seemed so nervous. His fingers were trembling slightly. It was adorable, and his lips were so sweet and soft. A light peck wasn't nearly enough. Can we kiss longer and harder? I'll try, he said. It's my first time kissing anyone. If I hurt you, let me know, okay? He leaned in again. This time was better, but he didn't use his tongue. I was about to try and part his lips when a shocked voice cut through the air behind us. Gus? Babe. It was Jack. We both froze. Gus pulled me into his chest, hiding my face, his hand covering the side of my head as if to shield me. My thoughts were a mess, completely hijacked by the frantic thumping of his heart against my ear. If a kiss made his heart race like this, what would? My mind drifted into X-rated territory as Jack walked over, a cheerful look on his face. Hey, you brought Babe to campus. That's cool. Apparently, he had no idea his online ex could get in.
What are you doing here?
Gus's voice was cool. Bringing some things for Mia. Jack's eyes crinkled. Congrats, you two. You got together fast. Gus gave a barely audible, Jack chuckled, looking at my back. Babe, you hiding in his chest because you're shy? I caught you kissing? Not even gonna say hi? I wasn't shy at all. In fact, a wicked idea popped into my head. I turned around. A wide, sweet smile plastered on my face. Hi, Jack, I said, my voice dripping with sugary innocence. Jack froze. The box of stuff he was holding, labeled Mia's room, slipped from his hands, spilling textbooks and a very familiar hoodie onto the pavement. He stared at me, his eyes wide, his jaw slowly dropping. He looked from me to Gus, who still had his arm wrapped tightly around my waist, then back to me. Mia, he choked out. In the flesh, I chirped, leaning back into Gus's solid chest. Gus looked confused, his grip tightening defensively. He looked at Jack, then at me, sensing the tectonic shift in the atmosphere. Jack pointed a shaking finger at me. But you're Mia, the freshman, the soulmate. He stumbled over the words. And your Babe, my online girlfriend, the edgy one. Surprise. I laughed, the sound bright and sharp in the cool night air. Turns out the edgy girl and the innocent freshman are the same person. Irony's a bitch, isn't it, Jackie? Jack looked like he was about to have a medical emergency. The cocky junior who had just been bragging about his grand confession was gone, replaced by a guy who looked like he'd just swallowed a live toad. He looked at Gus, his best friend, who was currently holding the girl Jack had just declared was his destiny. Gus, Jack said, his voice cracking. You knew. Gus shook his head, his expression sober. I knew she was the girl you set me up with. I didn't know she was the freshman you were obsessed with. He looked down at me, his gaze intense and unreadable. You could have told me, and spoiled the surprise? I teased, looking up at him. Besides, you said you were traditional. You can't break up with me now, remember? Gus's ears turned red again, but he didn't let go. I'm not breaking up with you. Jack let out a strangled sound, somewhere between a groan and a sob. He took a step toward us, then stopped, looking devastated. Mia, babe, I didn't know. If I had known, I never would have. He trailed off, looking at Gus holding me. I was an idiot. I made a mistake. You made a few, I agreed cheerfully. But thanks for the roses and the Funko Pops. Haley loved them. Jack looked like I'd just slapped him. He backed away, stumbling over the box of spilled items. He didn't say another word. He just turned and ran, disappearing into the darkness of the campus, leaving his dignity and my sister's old hoodie scattered on the ground. Gus and I stood in silence for a moment. His heart was still beating fast against my ear, but the rhythm was different now. Slower, heavier. You really mess with him, Gus said quietly. He broke up with me over a picture of me, Gus. And then he tried to pimp me out to his roommate. The dumpster fire needed a match. Gus looked down at me, his gaze solemn. He reached out and touched the red mark on my neck, a leftover hickey from Jack a week before we broke up, which I'd carefully hidden with makeup during our showing earlier, but which had rubbed off during our kiss. He traced the outline of it, his fingers cool against my skin. Is this from him?
Yeah.
A souvenir. Gus's expression darkened. He leaned down, his lips brushing against the mark. I'm going to replace it. My eyes widened. The innocent, traditional Gus was gone. In his place was someone possessive, dominant. I felt a sudden, delicious thrill run through me. Are you? Yes. He kissed the mark gently, then harder, a slow, deliberate suction that made my breath hitch. He pulled back, admiration shining in his eyes. You said you weren't standard hardware, babe. I plan on testing that theory. I grinned, wrapping my arms around his neck. Online calls were great, but this was so much better. Jack could have his soulmate drama. I had a traditional boy with some surprisingly non-traditional ideas. As we walked back toward the hotel he'd already booked, waste of money be damned, I checked the campus spotted page on my phone. Spotted. Jack from CS running across quad crying. Did the unbeatable hardware finally crash? I smiled. War and love, all's fair. The match was lit, and the fire was burning just fine. The hotel room was quiet, lit only by the faint glow of the city outside the massive window. We stood together, the air thick with anticipation. Gus was still blushing, but his eyes were steady, focused solely on me. I've never done this before, he whispered, his hands trembling as they touched the collar of my shirt. But I want to. With you. I know. I reached out and guided his hands to the buttons. Online stamina was one thing, but the reality of him, elegant, gorgeous, and surprisingly intense, was overwhelming. He unbuttoned my shirt with practiced slowness, his gaze dropping to my bra. He paused, his breath catching. He reached out and touched the lace, his fingers featherlight. You're beautiful. He kissed me, and this time there was no hesitation. His tongue parted my lips, exploration turning demanding. He tasted of mint and something uniquely him. The light peck from earlier was forgotten, replaced by a hunger that made my knees weak. He lifted me, carrying me to the massive bed, and hovered over me. The shyness from dinner was gone, replaced by a possessive resolve. You're my girlfriend, Mia. Yes. He touched the red mark on my neck again, his tongue tracing the real hickey he'd just made over Jack's old one. Forget him. He was a dog. I'm traditional. When I give a mark, it's forever. He stripped quickly, the visual affirmation of his traditional hardware causing my face to flush. He had plenty of money and, apparently, plenty of hardware to match. I reached out and touched him, my long fingers exploring the velvet soft skin. A skipped beat. Traditional, huh? I teased, looking up at him as he groaned, leaning his forehead against mine. Only until I have you, he whispered, his hands sliding up to cup my breasts. Then I plan on being a very traditional, very thorough master of this household. He moved over me, his elegant hands anchoring my hips. The traditional boy from dinner was gone. The heartthrob was gone. There was only Gus, claiming his territory with a passion and intensity one never saw coming. Online stamina?
Please.
Jack didn't know what he was talking about. This was real. This was standard hardware. And it was exactly what I needed.